everyone, and thank you for joining us. This is Local District Central's event, Black Women in Education. Muy buenas tardes a todos y muy bienvenidos. Vamos a comenzar. Before starting, I'd like to inform you that this town hall will be presented in English and will have simultaneous Spanish translation. To listen to this presentation in Spanish, you would need to click on the language option on the world icon you see on your screen and will select Spanish to begin. Antes de comenzar, le informamos que este foro será presentado en inglés y tendremos traducción simultánea en español. Para escuchar en español, oprima el símbolo del mundo y podrá ver el icono que indica español en su pantalla para poder empezar. I'd just like to review some important points so that we all have an understanding on how to participate during today's session. During this town hall session, you will have an opportunity to ask questions of our panelists during the presentation. On your screen, you will see a Q&A icon, and you can type in your questions. At the conclusion of this presentation, we will have our panelists respond to as many questions that we can as time permits. Also, this session will be video recorded and will be shared on our Community of Schools websites and on our local district website. Now, without further ado, to get our afternoon started, I'd like to introduce Mrs. Myrna Reynoso from the Department of Mental Health. Ms. Reynoso, please join us.
Thank you and welcome everybody. I just wanted to share resources because in the last year, there has been a 30% increase in symptoms of depression and anxiety across the United States. And LAUSD does have services to assist our families, our students, and our staff with mental health support, social emotional support. And you can call our LAUSD hotline Monday through Friday from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. at 213-241-3840. So next, I'm gonna pass it to Principal Cameron to take over.
Good evening, everybody. I'd like you to take a look at our agenda, and I'll give you about 30 seconds to read through it. Next slide. So tonight's inclusion is going to focus on Women's History Month. Since March is Women's History Month, let us all celebrate a powerful woman from our past or present who has made an impact on our life. Take a moment to think about that person and then text them a message of affirmation and appreciation. We see you, we hear you, we appreciate you. I'd like to introduce our Administrator of Instruction for Local District Central, Andre Spicer.
Well, hello, Local District Central champions, friends, parents, and students. I am Andre Spicer, one of your administrators of instruction, along with Mrs. Julie Gonzalez. We're so excited that you've joined us for our latest installment of Black Students Matter initiative here at Local District Central with our town hall. And you are in for a special treat tonight. We've assembled 5 extraordinary Black women educators. It's only fitting that we have these extraordinary leaders with us marking Women's History Month. If you're like me, you owe a lot to many women in your life: mothers, grandmothers, aunties, sisters, nieces, and cousins, and of course, teachers. In my own life, it was a Black woman, a Black teacher that had the absolute biggest effect on me. She saw the potential in me. She taught me, she nurtured me. So I would like to acknowledge her, Mrs. Sonia Bankston Cullens. Thank you so much for being an extraordinary Black female educator. Finally, I'd be remiss if I didn't acknowledge that our Black Students Matter initiative and all of us here in Local District Central stand in solidarity with our Asian community, and especially of those Asian women who were so senselessly murdered in Atlanta last week. Let's remember what Dr. King taught us. If there's an injustice anywhere, it's a threat to justice everywhere. Thank you. Now, I would like for us to take a look at our local district central instructional foci. Of course, rigorous grade level standards-based instruction is at the heart of all that we do here in local district central. We want to ensure that engagement strategies for the class of 2021 through the class of 2032 are rigorous and culturally responsive. Our equity lens, we're focused on all of our populations on the margin, our English learners, our students with IEP, gifted, those who are facing gender identity issues, and of course the unheard. But we are here for our Black Students Matter initiative, where we want to make sure that the voice of the Black community is heard. And of course, universal design for learning, making sure that all of our students have access to the curriculum, that all of our students have an opportunity to be successful in both career and life. So tonight, our engaged participant outcomes, we want to gain a better understanding and appreciation for the resiliency exhibited by Black women educators. We also want to highlight the contribution of Black women educators, and we're going to be inspiring the next generation of women in educational leadership. With that, I want to introduce an extraordinary leader, our superintendent, Mrs. Frances Baez. Mrs. Baez, welcome.
Thank you so much, Mr. Spicer. Greetings, local district central, educators, leaders, parents, students, community, and distinguished panel, which you are an inspiration to me. Local district central, home of the champions, continues with the series of town halls, which have been crafted to raise consciousness about the needs of Black students in our schools and act urgently to meet their needs. Today, we will hear from the notable Black women educators who have all demonstrated leadership through their scholarship and service, and many of them are my inspiration. In Local District Central, the journey to authentically and unapologetically meet the needs of our Black students began months ago, and we continue to interrupt systemic barriers to the success of our Black students and work towards providing our students a quality education. Recently, we launched a partnership with the Center for Love and Justice, which is guiding us in engaging students in anti-racist deeper learning as a vehicle for deeper learning and deeper equity. Local District Central has established the Black Students Matter initiative. We see you, we hear you, and the acts of urgency that will lead to school-wide practices that promote opportunities for Black students to thrive academically, socially, and emotionally. Through these acts, we will grow a history reflected in Black students graduating from LA Unified. I thank our Administrator of Instruction, Andre Spicer, our panelists and committee members for making today possible, for leading the acts of urgency and making this town hall possible today. I thank all of our guest speakers for being with us, and we thank all of our board members for representing families and schools to support equity and access for our students. And with that, it is my pleasure to introduce our honorable board member, Monica Garcia from Board District 2, an equity warrior, social justice warrior. Thank you for being with us today, Board Member Garcia.
Thank you, Superintendent Baez. Hello, Local District Central. Hello, champions. Hello, fearless leaders for our young people and 100% graduation. I join you today to celebrate this important initiative that has not failed, has not stopped despite pandemic and other life challenges. You know, I think it's so important to continue to lead with heart and from the center. Your initiative has called on all of us to be more courageous, to be more aware of the realities our children face, particularly our Black children. And today, as you celebrate the voices of women leaders, of African-American women who have been fighting the fight for, I turned 53 this year, so maybe all of my life, I just lift my voice in gratitude because they have gone without recognition often. They have modeled love overcoming, And I can tell you, during my tenure on the board, I remember the day we interviewed Michelle King to be our superintendent. There was tragedy that day in LA Unified as we had closed down schools for one day. And we knew, no one else knew how to respond. No other candidate we spoke to knew us, saw us, loved us like Dr. Michelle King. And so today I just celebrate that you are lifting the voices that know us, love us, and have served us and challenged us. So with that, I say, adelante, Local District Central. It's always a pleasure to be with you. Mil gracias.
Muchas gracias, Board Member Garcia. Thank you for joining us today. And next, I would like to also introduce another equity warrior, social justice warrior. I'd like to introduce Honorable Board Member Jackie Goldberg, representing Board District 5. Thank you very much for joining us today, Jackie.
Oh, I'm trying to get my video started, but I don't seem to be able to. Okay, maybe somebody else can. It's okay, you have to start the video for me. I can't do it. Well, first of all, let me just say thank you for the, okay. There we go. How about that? Technology, absolutely. First of all, let me just say thank you to all the people who put this together. I know that Francis Bias and I know that Mr. Spicer, Andre Spicer have been principal, but I know there are many others whose names I don't even know yet, but I'm learning that put this together. It is critical, as far as I'm concerned, for us in LA Unified and in every school district really, to take some leadership and to make some changes, but also to engage in conversations which help us all get better tuned at what anti-racism means. It's not just that you are supposed to work on yourself. By the way, we all need to do that because I personally believe racism is a part of the air we breathe in this country because it's a part of the founding of this country. So if racism is alive and well, and we see it in the attacks on Asian Pacific Island people, we see it on attacks on immigrants, we see it on attacks on Latinx, but we see it continuously for the entire period of our history of discrimination and racism attacks against African Americans. And so you're using this time in Local District Central to provide us with monthly meetings that deal with these issues and let us think about how we think on these issues and let us examine our own anti-racist motivations and encourage us to take action, not to be silent, but to take action in the face of racism and discrimination. Wow, you guys are doing a heck of a job. And then I want to say to the 87 people who've just signed on, you've probably been working with your kids all day. You've probably been working at your job if you're able to do it at home. Some of you are working outside the home. You've been busy, and yet here you are, because you, like all of us, know that it is long past time when we can say, well, you know, that's just the way things are. No, not good enough. Until we have African-American students feeling safe and comfortable in their schools, until African-American students don't worry about what might happen to them if the police stop their parents' car for a traffic stop on the way home and don't have to worry any longer whether that traffic stop is just a traffic stop or will end in a tragedy. Until all of those things change, these conversations are essential. And so I just want to give you great kudos, all 88 of you who have joined, because these conversations help all of us be motivated, be conscious, and be forward thinking about the need to resist racism, to be anti-racist, and to develop a real personal definition of what that means and what actions it requires each of us to take. So I thank you so much for inviting me and for letting me participate as a welcomer in these things, but I really take no credit at all. I simply want to thank all of you who are doing this important work and all of you who are participating in it from home, now 92 of you. So thanks a lot.
Thank you very much, Board Member Goldberg. Your presence here is very meaningful. Thank you for all of your support. I know that our Board District 1 leaders are also represented, so I'm just going to give it a shot. Sometimes our internet's a little unstable, but I do want to acknowledge that Dr. Robinson is with us today. And if the technology allows, Dr. Robinson, we welcome you from Board District 1, Honorable Board Member George McKenna III. Thank you very much for being with us.
It is my pleasure, absolutely. There is a Spanish proverb that says, you tell a woman anything she cannot do, you are telling her what she can do. So I really want to tell you that Dr. McKenna knows that women are very powerful. He's hired, I don't know how many in his staff. And it is the strength of women. May we know them. May we meet them. May we raise them. May we work with them. Thank you for being here this afternoon. Did I freeze?
No, you're good. Now we pass it back over to our facilitators. Thank you.
Don't you know, we're talking about a revolution sounds. Don't you know?
Hello, my name is Tamiko Young, a junior at Eagle Rock Junior Senior High School. I founded my very own club called Girls Can Create, which provides opportunities in the arts and careers for young women of color on campus. I am also the vice president of the Black Student Union at Eagle Rock High School, which provides a safe and comfortable space for the Black students on campus to express their ideas and aspirations. A Black female educator who inspires me is Maya Angelou. She is so multifaceted, and her legacy in Black culture and the world will never be forgotten. She was somebody who always spoke her mind, and whether it was through the art of activism or poetry, she always made you feel like you had a piece of her.
Crying at the doorsteps of those armies of salvation, wasting time.
Hello, my name is Taishana Molet. I am a senior at Manuel Arts High School. My principal is Dr. Dareika Thomas, and I hold the office as our BSLA president. Today, I will be speaking on Mary Jane Bethune. Okay, so a lot of people may not have heard her name before, but she has done some things as a African-American educator. She started a charter school for African-American students in Florida. Later on, it became Bethune-Cookman University. She held a leadership position in the Women's Army Auxiliary Corps. She was a lifetime, her whole life, she was in activism. She was deemed and acknowledged as the First Lady of Negro American in July 1949. She was known to the Black press as the female Booker T. Washington, and she is also known as the First Lady of the struggle because of her commitment to gain better lives for African Americans.
Poor people gonna rise up, get their share.
Ms. Jones is very smart and intelligent, and she's a very powerful woman, and I look up to her. And I hope someday that I can leave the same impact onto another student's life, because when I first came to Central High, I was struggling really bad. I wasn't doing the best in school, but she saw something in me, which helped me see something in me, and she gave me the extra push that I didn't have, and that's helped me come as far as I've come, you know? But it's not only Ms. Jones, you know, we have another teacher there, her name is Mrs. Kelly. She is very wonderful, she's very hands-on, and, you know, students give them both a hard time, but they still never give up on us. They still, you know, put the extra mile in, put the extra effort in to help us.
Hello everyone. My name is Elizabeth Kleins. I'm a junior at West Adams Military High School, and my educator is Mary McLeod Bethune. She was a civil rights activist and a dedicated teacher. She founded the Daytona Normal and Industrial Institution, which is now known as the Bethune-Cookman University. She has helped so many Black youth find education at a time where it was nearly impossible and definitely limited to have an education. She has also organized voter registration in a time where women were just gaining the right to vote. She's inspired me so much for women. She has started a college, which is now is a university. She had in a time where it was impossible for a woman to do that, especially a Black woman to do that. And she makes me feel like I'm able to achieve my dreams no matter how big they are. And I hope that everyone else can too. Thank you for your time.
Talking about a revolution, oh no. Talking about a revolution, oh no. Talking about a revolution, oh no. Don't you know, we're talking about a revolution sounds. Don't you know?
Hello, my name is Tomiko Young, a junior at Eagle Rock Junior Senior High School. I founded my very own
She's just a girl and she's on fire, hotter than a fantasy, lonely like a highway. She's living in a world and it's on fire, filled with catastrophe, but she knows she can fly away. Oh, she got both feet on the ground and she's burning it down. Oh, she got her head in the clouds and she's not backing down. This girl is on fire. This girl is on fire. she's on fire.
Okay, everyone, now we'll have Charlene Bennett, James, introduce our panel. Ms. Bennett?
Hello, everyone. Greetings to everyone who have logged in to our virtual town hall. You are definitely in for a treat. Just like Andre Spicer said earlier, these girls are definitely on fire. We are honoring our Black women in education. So just let me start by saying Happy Women's Month to all the women who are our attendees today. We welcome you. My name is Charlene Bennett. I'm an assistant principal at Dr. Maya Angelou Community High School, and I'm a product of LAUSD schools. I attended West Athens Elementary School, Henry Clay Junior High School, and Westchester High School. And I had wonderful role models. I even had the pleasure of working with Dr. Michelle King at Hamilton High School, where I started as a special ed assistant. And then I went on to work at Horace Mann and Bret Hart as a middle school teacher, and then to Santee Education Complex as a high school English teacher. I became a literacy coach and a Title III coach, working with a strong leader, Dr. Mata. So I'm very happy to be your moderator this evening. And we are truly honored to have 5 phenomenal Black educated women panelists join us today. Their professional careers in education is truly about empowering our youth and young girls of color. They aren't just talking the talk, but they are truly walking the walk. Their dedication to access and equity and student empowerment makes them great positive women role models. Their story, their journey, and all the wealth of knowledge that they're going to bring this evening will leave all kind of endless possibilities for our young girls to aspire to. Oh yes, one more thing. Did I mention that they all have their doctorate? So without further hesitation, let me allow and please welcome our first panelist, Dr. Dareika Watson-Davis. Please unmute yourself and go ahead. Introduce yourself. Take us away.
All right. Wow, that was a wonderful introduction, Charlene. Thank you so much. Good afternoon. I cannot stop smiling. I've been smiling since this started. It is such an honor to be with LAUSD. Local District Central, thank you so much for remembering me. I have my roots in LAUSD. My parents were educators with LAUSD, and I was inspired by my mother. She was a teacher 32 years ago. She taught for 32 years ago at the same school, Lauren Miller Elementary. My dad was an educator for 38 years at Los Angeles High School. They all both stayed at the same school, and for that, I have been inspired. My mom was my role model, so when I think about women and elevating others, I watched her do exactly that. She's no longer with me. I lost her last year, but while she's physically not with me, I'm completely inspired by her every day in the work that I do. So my name is Dareika Watson. I watched my mom as an educator, watched her in her classroom, and I went on to go to UCLA. I'm a graduate of UCLA. I ultimately went into education on an emergency to credential. So many of you on this panel probably as educators knew the process of an emergency credential. And so I was a teacher and I started at Western Avenue. I was a bilingual teacher at that. So I learned Spanish while I was in high school and ultimately continued my Spanish experience while I was attending UCLA. After teaching for about 6 years or so, I was encouraged by my leader, Linda Lou Kim. She saw something in me that I didn't see in myself. She said, you know, Dareika, basically, I see leadership abilities and skills. And before I retire, I'd like you to move into a leadership role. So she just took me under her wings. I became a bilingual coordinator, ultimately an assistant principal for 3 years. And then I became a principal. Right as she retired, she made sure I was principal. So I served as a principal in LA Unified for 10 years. Just those experiences have been so rewarding. I was at a next level in my career. After my principalship, I just thought, how can I really reach the masses? And so I wanted to continue to work with my principal counterparts in a different way, continue to serve students in a different way and their families and the communities. So I entered into the world of operations, and operations pretty much is everything non-instructional. So in operations, I started as a coordinator, and I worked with site administrators on school safety, student discipline, working with families and building communities, athletics, you name it. It was part of the world of operations, and it was a beautiful experience. And I worked in every part of the district based on that career. And it was just, I was able to reach so many, and I felt like touch so many lives in that way. As a coordinator, I continued to grow in this role. And so I ultimately went into the roles of lead coordinator, administrator of operations, and ultimately executive director of school operations for LAUSD. So my operations experience was for about 8 years. After that experience, I received an opportunity to work at the Los Angeles County Office of Education, working to support Inglewood Unified, a district that's very dear to my heart as well, and work to get them out of state receivership. So I worked in the same capacity around school operations. That experience led me to where I am today, and I currently work as the Chief Human Resources and Operations Officer for the Glendale Unified School District, and I also serve as the Director of Classified Personnel. And in this capacity, I work to hire staff. I work diligently around diversity, in diversifying this community. I work with classified personnel, recruitment, work closely with universities and colleges so that we could get the best and brightest teachers around who really want to serve children and do the best that they can to work and inspire. So I'm all over the place a little bit because I'm so honored and filled and happy to be here. LAUSD was where I started my career, and you guys have only done so many magical things for the work that I do. I hold LAUSD so near and dear to my heart. So thank you for allowing me to be here and share my story.
Thank you, Dr. Dareika Watson-Davis. Now I'd like to bring up our next superwoman, Dr. Brenda Manuel.
Hello, good evening, local district central champions. I am so honored and humbled to be invited to be on this panel today to share my story with all of you out there. I want to say happy Monday, happy Passover, happy upcoming Easter, and happy Women's History. I started my career many years ago, and as a student in LA Unified. I graduated from Washington High School, and then I went on to start a wonderful career as a teacher and a middle school. I was a college counselor. I was a dean. Then I went on to become a reading coach coordinator, middle and high school administrator. I was an elementary principal. I was the administrator of instruction. I was the local district superintendent for the West. But I am doing the best job that I have ever had. And I am now the administrator of the Student Empowerment Unit. And all of my work is working with young people, young leaders, young students to make sure that their voices are heard by the district, to make sure that they are provided with leadership training, and to make sure that they are exercising their voices to assist adult leaders to enact policies and to bring about change so that students can achieve all that they want to achieve. So I will tell you more about that. But again, I want to thank you for inviting me. And I know that we are going to have an enjoyable day. And I'm honored to be among this panel of such distinguished women.
Thank you, Dr. Manuel. And next up is our next superwoman, Dr. Brandi P. Jones.
Superwoman, I'll take it. Good evening, everyone. It is wonderful to be here. Thank you to Dr. Smith for the invitation to join this dynamic group of panelists. I am Dr. Brandi P. Jones. I currently serve the University of Southern California as Associate Professor of Engineering Education, as well as the Vice Dean for Diversity and Strategic Initiatives in the Engineering School. My equity framed work spans students, faculty, and staff initiatives. I've been engaged in this work in higher education for a little over 20 years. I've worked at a number of institutional types, ranging from small, highly selective, liberal arts, Ivy League, large private. The majority of my work has been in the equity, diversity, and inclusion space in various capacities, with the better part of the 20 years having been spent in science and engineering. Prior to USC, I was a dean in the engineering school at Princeton University. So I was an East Coaster for a little bit. While there, I earned a doctorate degree at the University of Pennsylvania. Then I returned home to Southern California. I am the first in my family to attend college. So while in Southern California, I did my undergraduate work up north at San Jose State University. I went on to earn a master's degree from California State University, Long Beach. And then I went on to hold a number of positions. So I worked at California State University, Long Beach, California State University, Dominguez Hills, Long Beach City College, California Institute of Technology, or Caltech, Occidental College, Princeton, and now USC. I will just say, in terms of my passion for doing this work, and all of the years that I've done it, the last year has really placed into sharp focus the importance of alignment between organizational values and practices and my personal moral compass. So very simply put, I'm passionate about equity work. The ability to tell the truth about historical harms and call out systemic racism in particular is at the core of my life and the core of my work. So I am so very pleased to be here tonight on this panel. I enter this space as a thought leader, a thought partner, and a thought strategist. Thank you.
Okay, our next lady on fire is Dr. Corliss P. Bennett.
Hello, good afternoon, evening, everyone. Thank you for coming. I really appreciate the 105 now people who have joined us. My name is Dr. Corliss P. Bennett, and I currently work for Humboldt State University, which is a part of the 23 California State Universities. Humboldt State is in a very small little place, just very rural environment in the sense of rural area, but right off the North Coast. Humboldt is an hour and a half west of the Oregon border. So we are 5 hours past San Francisco, just to kind of give you that frame of work, of thought. Let's see, wow. First of all, thank you to these phenomenal women who have spoken before me. When I think about my profession, I started off as a middle school teacher. I went to University of California, Riverside, and I was the only of my group of friends that wanted to be a teacher. And I was determined to be a teacher. my parents, well, my parents, we grew up, I grew up on the corner of 59th and 3rd Avenue, across the street from 59th Street School, where my mom was a teacher's assistant because she did not have her degree. I am first generation college graduate, both me and I and my sister. And I like to share this little bitty story where when it comes to what motivates me, what drives me, or in this case, what drove me, I went to St. Mary's Academy for high school. That's in Inglewood, California. And I remember in the 12th grade, I had to deliver one of the teachers told me to take something to the office, and I heard a male's voice in the career center. And when I passed by, kind of ear hustling, I saw a couple of my quote homies and a male voice talking about his institution. So of course we had a couple of male teachers at our all-girls Catholic school, but his voice I knew I didn't know. So I kind of ear hustled, went and took the paper, came back and was ear hustling a little bit more on my way back to the class. And he's talking about all these wonderful things at his institution and how, you know, he suggests and he hopes that they apply. So the next period was recess, or excuse me, that's talking about middle school, right? Was a break in high school. And I went to that nun, she was a nun, and I like to affectionately call her, no, nothing against Catholics, don't take this the wrong way, but I called her a hater nun because she hated on me. When I came to her and I asked her, why didn't she invite me to hear about the college, you know, this particular college? And she told me in my face and looked me in my eye and said that I was not ready to attend a 4-year institution. Well, I then looked at her and questioned her and said, well, I don't understand why I've been on the honor roll all 4 years. So you might have to say that this particular thing was the first thing that, you know, drove me into what I am today. What's really interesting is she was very serious and she just thought, and I said, well, I'm sorry you feel that way. I am going to go to college because my parents said that me and my sister are going to go to college. And okay, so I went home, told my mom, who's from Jackson, Mississippi. And let's just say she came up there the next day, and let's just say I never missed another recruiter. What I ended up doing was going to UC Riverside in the EOP program. And because of the EOP program, which is for first generation Black, Brown, and Native American students, I wouldn't be here today to be able to talk to you about how we encourage women, especially Black women. And at that point, basically 4 years later, upon my graduation in 1988, because it was 84 to 88, 4 years exactly later, I did send her an invitation to my graduation with the message saying, thank you for your support, ... And I'm happy to say that exactly 30 years later, after graduating high school in 1984, I crossed the stage at the University of Southern California, Fight On, in spring of 2014. So when I think about it, I know that I am one who was told that I couldn't do it. And my whole thing would be that I want to encourage everyone, but especially our young Black females, that they can do anything that they can put their heart to, no matter who tells them differently. And so that would be where I am so excited about being here to help encourage you during Women's History Month. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Corliss Bennett. That was a very moving and touching story. I think it's a story that a lot of Black women and Black young girls can relate to. So thank you for sharing that. Next, and our 5th finalist, Superwoman, Lady on Fire, Dr. Shani Byard. Please introduce yourself.
Hi, good evening, everyone. My name is Dr. Shani Byard. Happy Women's History Month, or Black History Month Part 2, as we call it in my household. We get to focus just on Black women in this month. Thank you for having me. I actually grew up in Los Angeles. I grew up in Leimert Park. I am a product of Dublin Avenue Elementary Fundamental Career Awareness Magnet School, which is now simply called Tom Bradley Elementary School. I benefited from a Black principal, female principal, and tons of Black teachers during that time. And it definitely made an impression on my life. I'm what you would call a non-traditional educator. My first career was in TV and music video production, actually. I went to Loyola Marymount University, and I have my bachelor's in television production. And I started the career there and had a unique opportunity to produce a hip hop music video show during the time where there was just MTV and BET, cable outlets, and the internet for videos and all of those things didn't really exist. You just were able to catch music videos on those two channels. So I was able to, through the job that I worked at that time, was able to purchase airtime on channel 56 KDOC, and it broadcast to 5 different counties. And I had access to, because I was producing the show, I had access to all of the hip hop artists and R&B artists of that time. So I featured people like Lauryn Hill and Method Man and Ice Cube and all of these things. Anyway, I produced about 60 of those episodes, and it caught the eye of Dr. Dre. He called me and said, you know what, I want to partner with you to produce your show. And I was like, wow, I'm a student, I'm a lover of hip hop. I'm 47 years old. I'm the same age as hip hop. So I was very excited about that opportunity. I ended up partnering with him. About a year later, he decided to debut Eminem and put all of his side projects on the back burner. So I was able to still work with the team. That crew is Dre and Snoop and Eminem and Nate Dogg, rest in peace at that time, Warren G. I had an opportunity to stay on that team and work, instead of producing my show with him, being a set photographer. And at that particular time, I was able to step back and observe a little bit more. And I became acutely sensitive to the messages that I was taking part in producing and how it shaped the images of Black women and how young people must be perceiving that. So I left that career and decided to work in education. And I ran a few after-school programs in media and arts education, and began to formulate what I use now as a framework to help teach young girls, young boys, teachers, and correctional officers, how to counter the influence that mass media has on their perception of Black people. So I have a unique path in terms of education. I got my master's in human services, and then went on to get my doctorate in educational leadership, and framed Afro-media literacy in that process. So that is the work that I do today, helping everyone from all backgrounds really kind of counter and not be so influenced about how mass media informs the way that they see Black people. And so hopefully that was helpful for you. Thank you. It's wonderful to be here.
Thank you, Dr. Shani Byard, for just having that creativity that has allowed you to work with some of the most famous people around. I'm sure many people would like to work with certain artists as such. So thank you for your work. At this time, I would like to invite all of our 5 panelists back onto the screen. So if you can unmute yourself and your videos, we're going to get in now to some questions and some discussion. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to ask some questions, and feel free, anyone can answer the question. If there's a question from the audience, I'll also take questions from the audience. So, but I'm going to start with my first question. And what are some specific challenges that's faced by young women of color as it applies to education? So anyone who can answer it? What are some specific challenges faced by young women of color as it applies to education?
I don't mind weighing in if I can. Hi, it's Dr. Dareika Watson again. I was a little nervous the first time, you guys, but I hope I'm inspiring our youth today. When I think about some of the challenges, and I'd like to speak directly to our young ladies, because I fell victim to it. I think I really want you guys to understand your value and your worth and know how amazing you are. And sometimes I feel like we're not getting enough of that as we sit in our seats, as we sit in classrooms. And I think it's just critical to your development. I challenge mothers and fathers all over this panel right here to make sure that we continue to communicate the value and worth of our young ladies, that they're able to achieve, do whatever they can, be committed, and know that they can access. When you look at here with every one of us, it's amazing. I never thought I had the ability or the talent or the skill to have a PhD. That wasn't really pushed on me. And I'm looking at all these women whose shoulders I'm getting ready to stand on. This is the start of relationships right here. So thank you, Local District Central, for this. And we just continue to inspire and build, but know that you're able to do that. Know your value, know your worth, and don't let anyone take that from you. So thank you for that question.
Would anyone like to add to that?
Yes.
Thank you.
I'd like to add to that. And don't have people put you in a specific category, or this is a role for women, or this is a role just for men. You can be and do anything. Don't let people say, oh, women aren't really good at math, or women aren't really good at science. Don't get them to get in your head and put those negative stereotypes and things in your mind. You have a right, you have the ability to go into any direction you want to go. You can be a leader, you can be on a board, you can have your PhD, you can excel in math, excel in science. Don't let people get into your head and say, oh, this is the role of women, or this is the role of men. So don't let people get in your head. Don't get them to start putting you in places. You put your own self where you want to be and where your destiny is taking you.
Thank you, Dr. Manuel.
And if I can just build on that,
yes.
I agree with everything you said, Dr. Manuel. And I'll also add that as you stand in your identity as a scholar, as a young Black scholar, know that you do not have to abandon your other identities. So as you stand as a scholar, you don't have to abandon your womanness, your Blackness, your whatever is. You don't have to abandon any of that, and you can stand in however you speak, whatever hairstyle you're wearing, whatever your clothes are, wherever you have come from. Yes. Use all of that as your power. And so don't feel as though, because as you go up and go higher, that as you step into being a scholar or a professional or whatever it is that you're stepping in to be, you don't have to abandon any other part of your identity.
Very, very wise words. That leads to my next question. Are there any assumptions about women that you would like to change, and why?
Well, I'll add on to the conversation and help answer that question too. I think that in my field in Afro media literacy or media literacy in general is, young girls, Black women, we are all prejudged. We are told, and very much influenced by what we see on TV, and that a lot of times gets imposed onto our identities. So to echo Dr. Manuel and Dr. Jones, a lot of that comes from the outside. So it's really important for you to really know who you are within, and to be able to practice not being, to be able to practice not to be influenced by what other people say. It's a really good practice to just ask yourself every night at the end of the day, what am I grateful for? What am I taking from today? What did I learn? What did it teach me about who I am? Or, how much the color of my skin is so important, how much my face and my body and my lips and my eyes and everything that makes me, what did I learn today that enhances who I am as a being? And I recommend journaling. Practice exercising your mind to be impervious to what other people say, and you will do just fine.
Thank you. So taking all of those advices and things that young girls should do, what do you believe will be the biggest challenge to the generation of young girls behind you?
Me.
Dr.
Wow. And you took the words right out of my mouth about the whole social media thing. I think the biggest challenge is that we are portrayed in such a negative manner on so many of these different TV shows that everybody, watches. You watch it, that's fine, that's on you, but the way they portray us is so sad. And I think a lot of our youth think that that's the way they should act in order to be famous. You know what I'm saying? And so, so then when we come into a classroom on career day, or we're in a panel like today, and they realize there is a light on the other side of that tunnel. And education is something that no one can take from you. And so no matter what society tries to put us in this box, and I'm going all over the place because my mind is like, but the box that, if we speak up, or if we do our jobs in such a way, then we are looked at as, or if we disagree, but we're not angry, but they assume that we are the angry Black woman. Or, oh, you have your degree? Oh, well, that's just always their oh. Or just the whole fact that we are trying our best, and that's why I appreciate this, to let our young girls know that there are other avenues in order to make you famous. If you want to be famous, you can be a famous writer, Maya Angelou. You can be a famous vice president of the United States. I mean, you can do whatever it is that you aspire to do, but it's just that we are competing against social media. And especially now that we've been at home for a year, I can't even imagine what our youth have been watching, because I think I've watched the most TV that I have in my entire life this year, in my entire life. And I'm over 50, entire life. I've never watched this much TV. So I don't know what can be done, because, when we try to send positive role models, they get canceled. Some kind of TV show that has some kind of a positive Black family, a positive female role model, it's only going to last yay long. And then it's like this over and you never hear it again. So I think things like this is a wonderful thing to start giving our girls a sense of choices. And I'll leave it at that.
Charlene, I'd like to jump in on there. I'm sorry. She got me all fired up.
You're fired up.
We're all fired up. I love my sisters out there. You know what? I want us to be careful not to always have to be that superwoman. We get those titles, and people expect us to do it all. We have to learn how to ask for help. We have to learn how to take care of ourselves. We have to learn how to refresh and rejuvenate and renew ourselves. There was a commercial that I saw that it had a woman in a suit. She had a frying pan in one hand and she had a briefcase in another one, and it says, I could bring home the bacon, I can fry it up in a pan. You remember that? I'm a woman, but yes, you can do it all. And you will do it all, but it may not always be at the level that you want at that moment. It may not always get, done at the exact time. We've got to ask for help. We have to learn how to be vulnerable. We have to learn how to reach out to people. And we have to also learn to go get help when we feel like we're drowning or it's getting too much. Seek out help from your friends, from your family, from practitioners. Be a superwoman, but you know what? Take care of yourself, and reach out and get help.
Yes, thank you, Dr. Manuel. That's very important. I do want to ask a question that was asked of the audience, and they wanted to know about mentoring and mentorship and how did that affect your growth? So if someone can answer that.
Me.
No, Dareika, not you.
Look, I said I was nervous before and shy and all of that. Now you guys want to take me off stage. But I was hoping this question came up because I'm only here because of great mentors. Dr. Manuel is one of those. She continues to support me throughout my career. I'm where I am because of great mentors who saw again something that I couldn't see in myself. And I think that's a challenge anytime I speak at a class, anytime I speak to students. I always want to make sure, or new teachers, new leaders, I want to make sure that they're recognizing some talent in someone. It may not be their course, but if you see that talent in them, tap into it. It may not be that they're the next school administrator or something like that, but they're the next something. And so mentorship is the reason I am here today. So I just want to say that LAUSD for even having me here. I know there are many on the screen that I can't see who have been critical in my career, so instrumental. And I just sit here before you and say thank you for the encouragement. And again, just seeing something in me that I could not see in myself. Mentorship is one of the most valuable things that you could have as you develop your career.
Thank you, ladies. It's a little after 6, it's about 6:05, but I would love for this discussion to go on and on, but what I would like to finish this evening with is with a phrase for you to finish. So I'm going to give each of you a phrase to finish, and I really want it to kind of pull at your heart and whatever the first thing comes to your mind. Okay, so I'm going to start with Dr. Brandi P. Jones. If you can finish this phrase for us. Women's History Month is inspiring because
it celebrates the center of the universe, women.
There it is.
Period.
Thank you. This is going to Dr. Corliss P. Bennett. It's important to encourage our youth and young girls of color because
we can't, let's see, well, that's good. It's important that we encourage our women because we cannot rely on someone else to do so.
Wow, thank you. Dr. Shani Byard, this one is for you. I stay encouraged by
the ancestors. And I will close on this from Gwendolyn Brooks. She writes, "It is lonesome, yes, for we are the last of the loud. Nevertheless, live. Conduct your blooming in the noise and the whip of the whirlwind."
That's beautiful. Thank you for sharing that. Dr. Dareika Watson Davis, this is for you. Before there was Michelle Obama or Kamala Harris, there was
Dr. Michelle King.
Thank you. And Dr. Brenda Manuel is my mentor too. I've reached out to her several times. It's always been there for me. Thank you, Dr. Manuel.
You're very welcome.
This is your phrase. One thing we should all remember is.
Okay, I have 7 things. So I'm gonna go real fast. Young women, you need to take care of your health and be mentally well. Without health, Nothing else is important. Take time for fun and leisure. Laugh. Have a good time. Develop yourself a roadmap and follow it. Build wealth. Establish your credit. Do generational wealth. Be ethical. Have morals. Engage in spirituality. And be reminded to follow that what you do now follows you into your future. Balance your school, your work, and your personal life so that you can focus on family, your children, yourself, your career, and your friend. And surround yourself with like-minded people, mentors, friends, and family. Those are the things that I have done, and I have found those to be very instrumental to being the person who I am today.
Thank you so much, everyone. Thank
Dr.
you.
Manuel, I'm gonna need you to put that in the chat. Can you put that in the chat? I was trying to write as fast as I could. I just need you to go ahead and put that in the chat for me. I appreciate you.
I will try to do it as fast as I can, Dr. Bennett, or you can email me.
Okay, that might be better. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, cousin James-Bennett. I interrupted you, my cousin.
Oh, yeah, we're cousins. We have to connect. So we're going to take it back to Andre Spicer. We want the whole team, if you could kind of hang out a little bit. We have a few slides about save the dates, and we want to bring back Andre Spicer, our administrator of instruction.
Thank you to all you phenomenal women. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I want to just give our superintendent, if she hasn't taken another call, an opportunity to thank you as well. But we're just so happy to have you with us today. It meant so much to hear from you, not just about your accomplishments, but about your resiliency and what it means to little girls who look like you, who come from similar circumstances as you, that they're empowered and they know that they can do because you did. And that's what we're trying to foster in our youth in LA Unified, and of course in LD Central and local district central. We want to empower all of our students, every last one of them, but especially those at the margin. We want to make sure that our Black students, that our Latinx students, that all of our students who may have special needs or have gender identity issues or so on, that they feel that empowerment. And you did it today for us. Thank you so much. I'm just honored to be in the space with you. And now I see our superintendent, Mrs. Byard.
Thank you so much, Mr. Spicer. And I want to thank all of our scholars, our practitioners, our leaders and inspiration for being with us today and for inspiring us all. And I've had such a pleasure of working very closely with Dr. Manuel and Dr. Watson, and I thank them for taking time out of their schedule. And to our leaders that I hope to learn and get to know more, thank you, Dr. Bennett, Dr. Jones, and I see your name there. Afromedia Lit is your organization.
Dr. Byard. Yes, Afromedia Lit. I would love to stay in touch with everyone.
Oh, absolutely. And so I thank you all for all the inspiration and for the stories that you've shared with us. They mean so much to us and to our families and to our students and to those that need that inspiration to look forward to their self-actualization. So thank you for being with us. And thank you, Mr. Spicer, and to our task force for organizing this today. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Mrs. Byard. Dr. Smith, you're the only brother on the panel is the doctor, so we want to hear from you. Lead us on out, bro.
Good evening again, ladies, and thank you so much for being here with us tonight. You're such an inspiration to all of our young women, and not only in education, just in pursuit of happiness, right? Just in pursuit of a future. All of our students in Los Angeles Unified School District, as well as LD Central, look to change their lives and their families' lives for the better. So you inspired them today. So thank you for your great and amazing work. All of our guests out there, thank you for attending tonight. We ask that you provide feedback. Give us feedback. Let us know your thoughts. If you have any special words for any of our panelists, we will share that with them. There is a link that's in the chat. Also, can you go to the previous slide, Mr. Spicer? Is there a link there? There is the link there for your review, and it's also in the chat for you. Thank you again for joining us each and every month. We have come to you with the topic related to our Black students. Our Black Students Matter. We see you, we hear you. Please know that we see you individually and collectively. We will continue this work. This is the beginning. This is year one of this work. It is not a sprint, it is a marathon. We are here with you. We are continuing this work together. So please, we want to hear from you. The superintendent has a Thursday morning chat with students, parents, and staff, students, family members. Please join. She would like to hear from you directly. So she will continue her work and instilling the vision and mission of Local District Central, the home of the champions. I say that to say good night. Thank you to all of our team members. You can go back to the next slide. Andre, we have our panelists here, our board members, our superintendent. There's a lot of work that goes into our town halls. I know that we only have an hour together. We could be here all night with these conversations, but please reach out to us because we have a pocket. We have all of our previous guests in our pocket. We will reach out to them for inspiration as this journey continues. So thank you again. Have a wonderful evening and we will see you next time. Good night.
Thank you. Thank you again, everyone. You know what, Mrs. Byers, as I'm looking at this esteemed panel, I'm thinking there's probably some partnerships here. I'm thinking about all the great work that these ladies are doing, these professionals are doing, and I know that there's other ways that we can cross-stitch our work for the benefit of the young ladies at Local District Central. So I'm gonna drop my email in the chat just in case they don't have it.
Yes, please. Thank you, Brother Spicer, appreciate that. And you know, Ms. Bennett, I was watching some of the chat, Dr. Bennett, some of her students were here from previous years ago that looks like they've been educators. They were commenting.
Oh my God, you're kidding.
USC.
Oh my God, please tell me their names or somehow I can, oh my God, you're gonna make me cry, but please tell me, oh my God.
Their email, if they're still out there, they will.
Oh my God. Somebody said that in the chat?
Yes, someone said
Okay, I'm gonna have to go back.
Well, it's not in your chat. It's in
in the big chat. Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Oh my God. That you know, I tell people, I say, you're a teacher and educator. It's like, I'm a teacher and an educator. What's your superpower? You know what I'm saying? Because there's nothing like being an educator because no matter what, you've touched at least one. If I could just touch one, and to have somebody come back, or I run into somebody at Costco or at the store or something recognizes me and I'm like, oh my God, and they've got their family and they became a teacher or they became an educator. So yeah, you gotta at least screenshot it for me or something. Oh my God, that is crazy. Oh, that is.
I invite all of you panelists to come and speak to our student leaders. I have student leadership classes. I have my Superintendent Student Advisory Council. We just had our Young Women's Conference, so you missed that. But we have a lot of leadership opportunities where you can come and talk to our leaders from all over the district. My unit is about student empowerment and leadership. And I want to say hello to everybody, Andre Spicer, Francis, all my people, Dareika, oh my
Dr.
God.
Manuel, thank you.
Veronica, all of you all. And it's nice meeting all the rest of you. And I hope that we can get together outside of this panelists and kind of share our own stories together.
Yes.
That would be kind of interesting.
Yes. You know, Dr. Jones, you'd be pleased to know that we've, well, all of LA Unified, not just LD Central, we partner with the Dean of Architecture at USC. And we're piloting a program. Actually, one of our schools, I take that back, one of our schools is going to benefit, Fauché.
Yes.
And what it's going to be a pilot program. It's still in the works. The dean, great guy. I worked with him the last 2 years in my former position. So we hope to get that pilot off the ground soon, where we have students that are going to take a hybrid course where they'll be at USC for part of the day and then they'll go back to their school. And it's supposed to give them real advantage in increasing the numbers of African-American students in architecture.
Absolutely, so important. And make sure you send them my way if they want to be an engineer.
Hint, hint.
Don't let them all become architects now.
Not all of them, right?
Send some of them to me.
Yes, we'll definitely connect. Thank you so much for being with us today.
Absolutely. I look forward to working with you.
Yes.
Just wanted to ask some of our task team, sports team that works on the town halls, if they can just
Here they are. Here's the
Here they
gang.
are. Yes, here they are.
Everyone working behind the scenes.
Lean Cameron, Robin Polito, Russell Copley, Kimberly. Is the Kimberly still? There she is. Garrett, Monica Williams, Veronica Herrera, Teresa Arreguin, Julie Gonzalez, Yolanda Bueno, Russell. Brother Russell, what's happening?
It's all rocking. What a beautiful evening. Thank you very much, Andre. Thank you, everyone.
And thank you for the video montage. Mr. Copley put together the video of our students, that student voice. That was him.
Thank you. Cheers.
Yeah, yes, and I must remind us that the students that were in the video were our student voice panel, our young ladies that did the young ladies panel. So
Oh,
they
that's so
came back
great.
to share some words so that you'll be able to experience some of the words they shared as well. So awesome.
Right. And
Thank you.
speaking of students, of course, Ms. Arreguin and Ms. Herrera, along with our superintendent, have student voice. I think Brother Smith mentioned that earlier. Every week, we're highlighting, we have some fabulous students. I'm gonna tell you, Dr. Manuel, you'll get one of our board, student board members out of LDC soon. I can guarantee you, because they're just phenomenal children.
And we're going to start looking for the Superintendent Student Advisory Council students. So we need to get some central students on that council.
Nice.
This has been, I'm glad that you guys are doing this. I just had a quick question about this whole going back to school. Is everything going to be okay with that?
Yes.
Absolutely.
The short answer is yes. Everything is going to be all right.
Yes. The
I don't have
answer
any
is
kids.
yes.
Thank God I don't have to worry about this, but yeah, so, okay. I just, just a question. So you got the different panels and things up and gloves and.
Oh my goodness. So many precautions and the due diligence has definitely has been done. It hasn't, nothing's been done haphazardly, if you will. So, taking student safety into account first and foremost.
Dr. Bennett,
Very
my
much
daughter
so.
attends St. Mary's. She's a gold tie.
Oh, is that right? Okay. Blue tie class of 84.
Yeah, she's gold tie 2022.
Okay, coming up soon. It'll be here before you know it.
So Kimberly Garrett, make sure she's involved. We have a mentoring program at St. Mary's. So make sure you find out about the Links mentoring program.
Oh, okay. They have never told us about that. Let me make sure.
That's what I'm talking about.
It's because the cousin of the counselor that told me what to do is not sharing the information.
Okay, we didn't know anything about a mentoring program.
So yeah, you when you tell her to find out about the Inglewood Pacific chapter of the Links Incorporated, we have a whole mentoring program at St. Mary's. And so everything that we do, our scholarship winners always come from St. Mary's, and all of the mentoring that we do is solely there.
Okay, I will make sure we do that with her.
It's unfortunate. You have to really ask these counselors, as all the information, because they're not going to share it, unfortunately. A lot of them don't. Not all, but a lot of them don't. So you kind of have to go in there and say, what's going on? What's the pre-college stuff? What I need to know,
Well, I do that. And sometimes I feel like I'm annoying them because I'm an educator and I kind of know certain things. So when they say stuff, I'll be like, no.
Do you pay tuition?
I do. Yes,
Okay, then you're not annoying them.
Thank you.
Yes.
Because trust me, my mom had been up there a couple times, had to set them straight a couple of times. So.
And my mom wasn't paying tuition, but she was up there setting them straight.
And there it is.
I wanted to say good night to everyone. I have to go feed my 6-year-old baby girl.
I understand. Thank you again for
so-
spending the evening with us.
Yes, thank you. It's been really great.
Good night.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you.
Thank you again, team.
Bye,
Thank you
Dareika.
for all the inspiration.
Bye.
Good night.
Thank
Dr.
you.
Manuel.
Bye.
Yolanda,
See you,
thank
Dr.
you
Smith.
again. You saved my life.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for thinking about me, Dr. Charles.
Of course.
I
Anytime.
appreciate that.
Thank you, cousin Bennett.
All right now.
Charlene.
Where your people from?
It's from my father-in-law side.
Right.
Yeah, so.
Well, my
he's
parents
also-
are from Jackson, Mississippi, so
Okay.
it's not
Well,
too
we
many.
have to find out,
Bennetts
there's
out
not
here.
too many Bennett's out there, so.
Yeah.
Y'all cousins.
I'm
Y'all-
Bennett, but
Yeah,
I.
y'all cousins. One way or another. Charlene,
So I
you did a
really,
great
really
job.
appreciate this. This was great, and I'm glad that you know, there was a concentration on Black girls, and I appreciate that because we're losing them. We're losing them. So anything I can come to, I'll come to anybody's classroom, anywhere I can get away from these walls that are caving in on me. So I'll go to everybody's school that was on the circuit. I will have no problem once, as long as y'all got it all situated, and I will come. But that's basically what I do. I do a lot of pre-college counseling, pre-college workshops. So I'm down. You just holler at your girl. Holler at your girl.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for the invitation.
Yes.
Charlene, you did a bang up job. Thank you. Snap.
Charlene, you killed it.
Thank you. Thank you, team.
All right.
Thank you. We'll see you. Thank you, Teresa. Thank you, Veronica. Veronica, I'll get with you in the morning. I heard you were looking for me today. It's going to be all right.
Oh, yeah. Several times. I went up there and Andre be gone.
I had to come get ready. Charles and Charlene, man, they run a tight ship. They're not going to let me just fluff on in there. They said, hurry up.
Well, I'm glad. It was fantastic.
As
You
always.
guys,
Thank you so much.
everyone was inspiring. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Okay, Charlene, we'll talk soon. And I'll talk to you tomorrow. Are you coming in, Veronica, tomorrow? Okay, I'll see you tomorrow.
We're still recording, guys.
Yes.
Oh.
Hi, everybody.
This meeting is not being recorded.
When
we get the recording, Dr. Manuel asked me for it. So who do I get it from?
Teresa has it. Teresa
has it? Okay.
And I'll start pulling it out. Thank you, everybody. Have a great evening. Great
Thank
event.
you, Teresa. Thank you so much. We'll see you soon.
Bye-bye, everybody.
Bye, Veronica.